in hydrogen, strategy is not just about ambition, it's about adaptability. As one of Europe's most closely watched energy companies, Repsol has made bold moves in the hydrogen space while navigating evolving market dynamics and regulatory realities. Today, we are very honored to be joined by Mr. Tomas Malango, Director of Hydrogen, Renewable Fuels, and Circular Economy at Repsol, whose insights are key to understanding the company's pathway forward. Thomas, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
To kickstart our interview, we want to really focus on your technology and strategic growth. Mr. Malango, your role spans hydrogen, renewable fuels, and circular products. What specific technologies and value chains fall under your remit, and how do they align with Repsol's overall decarbonization strategy?
Okay, well, I think in the energy transition space, there are technologies that are already developed, very much focused on the biofuels production side. So production HVO, sustainable aviation fuel is available. And we can just buy the technology and install. We still have some challenges, but it's, let's say, essentially developed. And we have a couple of technologies that need to scale up. And then we have the electrolysis itself. So it's a technology that has been there for a while, but at another as very small scale compared to the targets that we are trying to get now. And the other one is the gasification technology, which is a very promising technology. We believe that is going to create a space for these RFMBOs or hydrogen-based molecules. So this type of technologies, we think they need to scale up and to become commercial. And in that sense, we are creating strategic alliance with technology developers. One example of that is a gasification company called Renewable, Canadian energy technology company, where we are part of them, beside of constructing a methanol gasification project in Tarragona for the production of methanol. And in the other hand, with electrolysis, we are in conversation with several European technologies in order to create a strategic alliance and that enable us to execute our pipeline.
I recall in one of your interviews 2 years ago, when you described the hydrogen market, in one word you used exciting. And now 2 years passed. If you had to summarize the current mood in Europe's hydrogen and low carbon fuels market again in one word, what would it be? And how do you interpret the current policy signals from Brussels and other national governments?
Well, I would say that the hydrogen market is getting to reality, so it's getting realistic. That will be my sentence. So it means that a lot of players around the hydrogen are not there anymore. And now we are sticking with the real players that are going to take place in that sense. From Repsol side, I'm proud to say that we are almost in the same position, ready to execute 350 megas of hydrogen in the upcoming months to take finally the grand decisions. So I think essentially we are in a real phase and trying to move from paperwork to steel, which as an engineer I really love. And all on regarding the regulation, I think particularly in Europe has made a huge effort to develop the framework. We believe that regarding hydrogen, there are still some adjustments that have to be done, very much focused on the delaying our declaration and the additionality, which are two issues that are increasing significantly the cost of hydrogen. So we think this is something that is not about not getting them in place, but getting them in the right time, giving a space to the national market to happen. And in the sustainable fuels space, I think that moving to a more technology neutrality approach in the regulation, admitting vehicles with renewable fuels is as equivalent as electrical vehicles is a step that is needed. And my feeling is that the regulators are open to hear. So it's a phase of openness, I may say, but we need results. We need these changes to be implemented in order to enable and to provide flexibility and to make sure that we get the tools to meet the goals that we are setting for ourselves.
There are a lot of conversations around demand, how to stimulate demand, what's holding buyers back. How is Repsol working to de-risk the demand side for hydrogen and renewable fuels particularly with hard-to-abate sectors like aviation and shipping.
The stimulation of demand needs a lot of different tools. It's very sophisticated. For sure, one of them is reducing the cost of the product. And I think in that sense, from the hydrogen perspective, the work has been done properly, providing enough subsidies to the producers of hydrogen to get hydrogen developed and incentives through the regulation establishing this minimum amount of RFMBOs in the European regulation. So I think from the production side, it's quite almost there for the hydrogen. From the demand side, what we need is to understand the new value chains that are being created and how we can uh, accelerate the deployment outside of the substitution of hydrogen, green renewable hydrogen, substituting existing hydrogen. So this, I think, for that side, is quite clear. If we want to move to new applications, then we need to think about how to create probably sandboxes and this type of approaches could work to make hydrogen move in spaces where it's not there anymore until today. I think there are a lot of players. If you talk about maritime, I think IMO have done a very brave movement as association establishing targets for the global scale. And I think that is going to enhance and going to accelerate the deployment of renewable fuels and hydrogen derivatives in the maritime space at the end of the decade. I think aviation still needs some similar work to be done, and we are engaging with them. And I think it's about engaging and understanding where are the blocks and the processes, what are the limitations for the off takers to go to that product and to and creating environments for this type of conversation. A good example of that in Spain, we create an association, a couple of associations. One is signed in the Spanish Hydrogen Network, and this is uh, almost 40 entities collaborating in order to leverage projects, and particularly hydrogen in mobility is something that we are trying to push in that space, and also provide, let's say, value chain advice to the regulator of what we need to enable the things. And we are doing something similar in the renewable fuels space with with the association called Crecemos. So it's a renewable fuels and circular economy association for sustainable mobility in Spain. And we are doing the same from the farmers until the end users of the sustainable fuels, everybody together creating a common understanding of what is the goods and what is the challenges and how we can improve the deployment of all of this. So it's a global work. We need a lot of interaction, and we need to understand. I think the most important thing is that we need all the tools to meet the goals that we have.
The last question to today's interview is really about policy. If you could rally the entire policy and industry ecosystem in EU around solving one major bottleneck for low carbon fuels and hydrogen adoption, what would be?
Well, as there are two different markets, I will give two
Okay.
questions. So regarding hydrogen, we need to postpone our declaration and additionality. I think this is very clear. Additionality and our declaration increases the price of renewable hydrogen by 25%. So postponing this provides competitiveness to the hydrogen at the very initial phase. All the technologies that have been deployed in the past, they have uh, been created through this type of environment. And let's look to the success story of renewable energy. They still don't have our declaration until this year. So let's give the space for hydrogen to grow. And then when it's there, we can adjust the market and do the things a little bit better and not making it perfect at the very beginning. So our declaration and additionality for hydrogen, and in the sustainable fuels or renewable fuels space, we think that the regulation at the end of the last session of the European Parliament, they opened a window with the so-called carbon neutral fuels in order to be used in the light duty and heavy duty vehicles. We think that we have a good definition of what that means, which is renewable fuels. Renewable fuels are already defined, well-defined, robust definition and paperwork done by the Commission. Let's don't create something new and just take renewable fuels as a standard for light duty and heavy duty vehicles, equivalent to electrical vehicles. This technology openness approach will enable us to put on the market and get this CO2 reduction faster, cheaper, and it's something that we need to meet the goals. So essentially, considering renewable fuels as carbon neutral fuels and postponing a time correlation and additionality for hydrogen. We will keep on pushing in order to get the goals in energy transition, which is part of the Repsol strategy and part of our contribution to the society and the world.